So good morning students. In today's class, we are going to learn about Hebbian learning mechanism. In our previous classes, we learned about error correction learning, memory based learning. In today's class, we are going to learn about Hebbian learning. So Hebbian learning mechanism is one of the oldest learning rule, and it was proposed by Donald Hebb. Donald Hebb in this book Organization of Behavior in the year 1949. He postulated that suppose there is a neuron A. Suppose there is a neuron A and another neuron B. These are the two neurons. If A is near B and A fires B, so A fires B or excites B continuously, then the metabolic changes will happen in both the cells. The metabolic change happened in both the cells A and B such that A's efficiency to fire B will increase. So what it means? So that means A and B are the two neurons. If A continuously fire the B cell, then the metabolic changes will happen in both the cells A and B. Okay, that means the weight of the synapse will increase if A continuously fires B. So in simple terms, if A fires B repeatedly, then its ability to fire B also increase. So this is an actual phenomena happening of our brain when we learn something new. Now, so how our brain works? So when we are learning something new, so we fire the neurons, then we recognize, then we can memorize those things. So that is the reason why the Hebbian mechanism is very similar to the physical changes that happens in our brain. So when we learn something new. So however, Hebb's postulate is based on neurobiological context. So how do we translate it into a way that we need? That means that this is the designed by the Saheb. So now we are going to convert this into our neural network architecture, ANN. Okay. To implement in an artificial neural network, it can be done by breaking the postulate into these two sample rules. Two sample rules. So what is the first one? If two neurons are either side of synapse or activated simultaneously, that means these are the two neurons. This is the A and this is the B. So synapse is nothing but the connection. Okay, so then the strength of the synapse is so selectively increase. So that means now the A fires or continuously excite this the B neuron, then the synapse will be increased. So here, so this A we called as a presynaptic neuron. So B is a postsynaptic neuron. Okay, so now if A fires B so continuously, then the synapse will be increased. So that means the WKJ will increase. The WKJ will increase. And if two neurons are either side of the synapse are activated unsynchronously, in the first one they activated simultaneously synchronously. In this they are unsynchronously, then the synapse is selectively weakened or eliminated. Now the WKJ will decrease or because so these both are asynchronously. So now the WKJ will be decreased and eliminated. Okay. Now if J and K fire at different times, so this is the here we are taking AB. if this is the J and K at different times, then the strength of WKJ, here Kj, so K is the one neutron, J is another neutron. Okay, so next one, so coming to features of Hebbian learning. So features of Hebbian learning. The first one is time dependent. The first feature is time dependent. So this is time dependent. So what is the first feature of Hebbian network? It is time dependent. So that is the modifications in the Hebbian synapse or weight of the Hebbian synapse depends on the exact time of occurrence of the presynaptic and postsynaptic activities. So that means here we are taking two neurons, so K and J. So if the both the neurons are excite at the same time, then the WKJ will be increased. The WKJ will be increased. Okay, so that means in time dependence is nothing but that is modifications in the Hebbian synapse. This is the Hebbian synapse or weight of the Hebbian synapse depends on the exact time of occurrence of the presynaptic and postsynaptic activities. So presynaptic means K is the presynaptic neuron, so J is the postsynaptic neuron. So as we have mentioned earlier, so if the postsynaptic and presynaptic activities take place simultaneously, so what we discuss in this. Okay. So if both are simultaneously, that means they both excite at the same time, then WKJ will increase. If the post-synaptic and presynaptic activities takes place asynchronously, so these asynchronously, then the WKJ value will be decrease. Okay, and the second feature is highly local. So second feature of this Hebbian network is local. So local is nothing but it's a highly local mechanism, that is weight of the Hebbian synapse. So between two neurons. So between two neurons. So for example, A, B. So these are the two neurons. So depends on the activities of A and B only. So for example, there is another neuron C. So this does not affect these two neurons AB. Okay, that means these WKJ value depends on these two neurons only, A and B. So this is the local. So local is nothing but the weight of the Hebbian synapse. So between these two neurons A and B, depends only on the activities of A and B. Okay, that is no other neuron in the network will affect the WKJ or weight of the synapse between A and B. Okay, that means this the, for example, KJ. So this is the weight. So this weight does not affect by the any other neuron in the network. Okay, that we are called as a local. So coming to third one. So third one is strongly interactive. Strongly interactive. So the third feature is strongly interactive. Okay. So strongly interactive is nothing but the occurrence of the change in the Hebbian synapse depends on the activity levels on both the sides of the synapse. Now, the strongly interact is nothing but here this WKJ value depends on the occurrence of the change in the Hebbian synapse. So depends on the activity levels on both the sides of the synapse A, both the synapses of A and B neuron. In other words, we can say that Hebbian learning is based on true interaction between the So postsynaptic neuron and presynaptic neuron. Okay. And next one is fourth one, correlation. Correlation. So correlation. So what is correlation? We have three types of correlations. One is positive, another one is negative, another one is uncorrelated. Uncorrelated. Okay. So correlation means that the modification of the synapse is based on the occurrence of presynaptic and postsynaptic activities. Okay, that means this WKJ is depends on the neurons A and B. Now here this WKJ, WKJ will increase. In similar way, this WKJ will decrease and the WKJ does not correlate each other. Okay, these are the three conditions. How they are correlated means, so when the presynaptic neuron and the postsynaptic neuron fires at the same time, then we call it as a positive correlation. Then we call this as a positive correlation. What is a positive correlation? So positive correlation is nothing but the presynaptic neuron and postsynaptic neuron fires at the same time. Then we can call it as a positive correlation. So I hope you all are understand what is negative correlation. So negative correlation is nothing but when two neurons are fired asynchronously. If the two neurons are fired asynchronously, then we call that as a negative correlation. Okay, so suppose there is a neuron A and another neuron B. If neuron E is excited, then the neuron B will be in the relaxed state. Okay, that means if this A, so this is the neuron A. So this is the B. This is the B. Now, if A is exciting the B, but B in the relaxing mode, that we are called as a asynchronously. Okay, so now the WKJ is negatively correlated and the value of WKJ will be decreased. Okay, uncorrelated means, so this is the third one. Uncorrelated means that it does not belongs to both positive and negative correlation. So both the neurons are permanently in relaxed state. Okay, so both the, now you all are understand that. So coming to correlation, there are three types of correlation. So positive, negative, uncorrelated. Now if A excites B synchronously, then it is positive correlation. A exciting the B, but B is in relaxed mode, that we are called as a negative correlation. And uncorrelated means A and B, so both are in relax, then we say that it is uncorrelated. Okay, so it likes switches. So for example, you take A and B, A and B. So these are the two switches, 1 1, then it is positive. The WKJ will be increase. WKJ will be increase. So 0 1. So 1 is exciting, B is B is in exciting mode, so 0 in relaxed mode. Then it is WKJ will be reduced and it is negative correlation. And A is 1, B is 0. Then also the WKJ will be reduced and the WJK will be decreased. And if both are 0 0, then this we are called as a uncorrelated correlation. Okay, so next one, okay, so classification of synapse modification. Classification of synapse modification. So classification of synapse modification, synaptic modification can be classified into three types. So this can be classified into three types. So one is Hebbian. So what is the first one? Hebbian. Hebbian. Second one, anti-Hebbian. Second one is anti-Hebbian. So third one is non-Hebbian. So third one is non-Hebbian. Non-Hebbian. Okay. So coming to first one, in Hebbian modification, we have already seen the synaptic strength WKJ. So W, just wait. Synaptic weight WKJ will increase with positive correlation. So that we are called as a Hebbian synaptic. Okay, if it is in the positive correlation, that means if the neurons are positively correlated, the synaptic weight will be increased. The synaptic weight will be increased. And so what is the anti-Hebbian? So anti-Hebbian is nothing but it is reverse to the Hebbian. The WKJ will be reduced or eliminated. Okay. So if the two neurons are negatively correlated, then the synaptic strength will be increased. So non-Hebbian will obviously does not involve in both Hebbian or so non-Hebbian mechanisms. So these are the classification of synapse modification. I hope you all are know the synapse. Synapse is nothing but the connection between the two neurons. Now these synapse have some weight. So this can be classified as these three items: Hebbian, anti-Hebbian, non-Hebbian. If it is increased, then it is Hebbian. If it is decreased, then we say that anti-Hebbian. So non-Hebbian means this is not involved in both the Hebbian and not anti-Hebbian. Okay. So now we see. So now we see some mathematical model. So mathematical model for Hebbian modification. So mathematical model for Hebbian modification. Okay. In Hebbian mechanism, the strength of the synapse or the modification of the strength of the synapse WKJ is depends only on the presynaptic and postsynaptic activities. So where K is the presynaptic, so K. So for example, I'm taking KJ. KJ. Okay. So where K is the post-synaptic neuron and J is the presynaptic neuron. Okay. So using the help of the rule called activity product rule, we can state that function. As already we discussed about this function in our previous classes. So delta of WKJ. So delta of WKJ equals to eta of x y k. xj y k. Here the eta is nothing but learning parameter. So this we are called as a learning parameter. This is learning parameter. Okay. Here the WKJ, this is delta WKJ is a non-zero quantity only if both xj and yk are present. Okay. So let us draw a graph for better understanding. So this is the delta WKJ. So this is the yk. Okay. So this is the xj is constant here. So xj is constant. Okay, so this is the formula wkj equals to eta xj yk. So now if you draw graph for this, now it seems like this. Okay, so this is the equation for a straight line passing through the origin. So now this is an equation for straight line. Just wait. Okay, but here we have one problem. The problem is if we have positive yk and corresponding, so there will be a positive delta wkj. Now a positive wkj will result in bigger synaptic weights. That means if the yk is positive, the delta wk is also positive. Now this results in a bigger synaptic weight, which will increase the yk. So what it means here, so both are the, we say that this wkj will increase, this wkj will increase. Now if the yk is positive, the delta wk is also positive. The resultant is, if the yk is positive, the graph grows like this. The graph goes like this. So this is the problem. So now what it means, for example, for wkj, so already we discussed about this in our previous class, n plus 1. So wkj n plus 1. So what is the wkj n plus 1? So wkj of n plus, so wkj of n plus 1 equals to, so wkj of n plus, so delta wkj. So delta wkj. Now let the yk of 0. So what is, now you say that, so for example this is the 1 2, so 0 1 2 like this. So for yk of 0, so there is a wkj of 0. So this is the wkj of delta wkj of 0. So now, so this is the graphic. And similarly for yk of 1, there is a, so wkj of 1. Now, so what is the wkj of 1? So wkj of 1 equals to wkj of 0 plus delta wkj. So delta wkj. And similarly for 2, so this is the one. Okay, in the next iteration, the yk of 3, we know that the wkj is the much quantity. If you observe that the graph is increasing here like this, but actually the learning process is not like this. Okay, so as a result, the graph shifts from this point to, so this point. So let me denote the distance as a vowel here. For example, so this is the a, the distance is a, the distance is a. So next it becomes a plus this one, this is b. And similarly, so this is the c. That means here the b equals to a plus, so delta wkj. So that means it is rapidly increasing. So now we are going to see, so how we can reduce this, so how we can overcome this. Okay, so this is the problem with Hebbian hypothesis. In order to tackle this problem, we can modify the Hebbian hypothesis using the, so two methods. So the first one is to introduce a forgetting factor. introduce a forgetting factor. What we see in the graph? In the graph we saw that, so this is the one, so for 0, so this is the 0, delta wk is of 0, this for this one, yk of 1, this is the one. Here if you observe that this is the distance a, so this automatically added to this b, and so for n, so there is a, so learning these weights will be increased heavily. Now, so how we can reduce that? So how we can overcome this problem means, so by using so two methods. In that, the first method is to introduce a forgetting factor. The activity product rule is in this method of adding so forgetting factor, so will minus the expression with alpha, with alpha. Okay, that means the eta of, let me take out the eta, so yk of n. Okay, and so this can be rewrite as, so alpha eta. So this we are taking as a c. So this is the constant. Okay, so now we see the equations one by one. So delta wkj of n. What's the wkj of n? Just wait 1 second. Just wait 1 second. Just wait. Okay. So this is the wkj of n, so equals to eta xj of n, so yk of n, and minus, here we are using forgetting factor. The forgetting factor is so subtracted from this, so eta xj of n, yk of n, so that we can indicating with alpha. So yk of n, so wkj of n, here n. So now we can modify this equation like this: eta, so yk of n, so eta yk of n into xj of n, minus, so this is the alpha by eta, so wkj of n. Just sorry, so wkj of n. Okay, so now we take this quantity as constant c. So this is the c. Now we can change this, so eta yk of n into xj of n minus c wkj of n. Okay, so this is so generalized activity product rule. We have another method. So that is use covariance hypothesis. So using so covariance hypothesis, in this, so you are going to take the mean value. So mean value. The second one, so covariance. In this, you are going to take the mean value. So this is the formula. So delta wk is equals to eta xj minus x bar yk minus y bar. Here, so x bar and y bar are the some mean values. or the mean values. Okay, so when you draw the diagram graph, it seems like this. So this is the maximum depression point. So eta of minus eta of xj minus x bar y bar. So this we are called as a balance point, and so here the slope is so eta xj minus x bar. So here it is negative, here it is positive, and the slope is eta xj. So this we are called as a covariance hypothesis. Okay, so this is about today class. In tomorrow class we are going to learn about some next mechanism, so that is computative learning mechanism. Okay, so thank you all.